Nobody ever takes me seriously, which I have no problem with, by the way. So believe me, I understand if nobody thinks I'm genuine when I say what I'm about to say. One of the things that actually kept me going during my first 5 months in Afghanistan was knowing that when I was done, when I finally got home, I could turn on the camera and tell tens of thousands of people what it was like over there. I could go into great detail about my environment, my experiences, and all the douchebags I was forced to put up with. And believe it or not, turning on a camera and communicating via this outlet actually does keep me sane. And it kept me sane during my first 5 months in Afghanistan, just knowing that I was finally going to get to turn on the camera, eventually. Problem is, I've been back home a few days already, and there's this little voice in the back of my head that tells me not to tell anyone what it's like over there. And I know where that little voice is coming from. That little voice in the back of my head is the soldier in me. The soldier that hates you. A lot of civilians who have never served hate service members, and I know that. They think we're a bunch of dumbasses who think we're better than everyone else because we're in the military. Well, this may be true for a lot of us, but I hate to break it to you, guy. The reason we hate civilians isn't because we think we're better than you. It's because you pretend like you know what we have to go through, and you have no fucking clue. And this is where the majority of the hatred from service members towards civilians comes from. It comes from knowing that civilians who've never served will never, ever understand what it's like to be a soldier, or an airman, or a sailor, or a marine. They have no clue. If you have never put on a uniform, if you have never, ever been integrated into that fascist organization that is the U.S. military, you have no idea what it's like. I don't care how many war movies you've seen. I don't care how many friends you have who've served and have told you what it's like. If you haven't been there, you don't know. So the soldier in me is telling me not to tell you what it's like over there. It's telling me not to tell you what it was like to be a deployed soldier because you just won't understand. You won't understand no matter what I say, no matter how articulate I am in trying to convey to you what happened and how I felt. You will never truly know unless you've been there. If you've put on the uniform and you've served this fucked up country. It's fucking ridiculous. But deep down, I know I don't want to be a soldier forever. The vlogger in me wants to express to you what I had to endure while I was there. I'm about to go into detail about one of the hardest parts about being a deployed soldier, and all I ask is that you try your damnedest, if you have never served, to put yourself in my shoes and truly see how horrific what I'm about to tell you actually is. You see, one of my favorite hobbies just so happens to be masturbation. It's something I've done since I was a teenager, and I haven't missed a day. Even if I've ever had the flu or the diarrhea, I didn't give a shit. I was always willing to crank one out. But when you're deployed in Iraq, Afghanistan, the Horn of Africa, it's a little harder to do that. It's not like you have a room to yourself that you can go to and bust a nut whenever you want. The majority of soldiers are in tents with at least 17 other guys. Now personally, I have no problem masturbating in front of 16, 17 guys. I really don't care. I want an orgasm bad enough, I'll make it happen. I really will. I have no shame. And then after that, I'll go ahead and tell everybody I just blew an A-roper, guys. My hen visited the Bullfrog jungle. But the other guys in the tent would have a problem with me doing that, so that's not really an option. When I first got to Afghanistan, I had to adapt and overcome, and it was very difficult to do. I had to quickly come up with a covert and enjoyable way to masturbate. And believe me, it's not as easy as it sounds. Now this is the particular technique I came up with, and try to imagine attempting to follow through with this, okay? I go in the bathroom and there's like 6 stalls in there, right? The first thing I gotta do is choose a stall to walk into in order to blow my load. This is a little tricky, especially if there are already stalls being used by other people. Best case scenario, there's only one stall being used, and so I go to the stall that is the furthest away from that stall. And I wait. And I wait, and I wait, and I wait, and I wait, and I wait for the other guy to go away. I mean, it's not like I can just start jerking off with somebody else in the bathroom. It's just weird. But some people, especially guys in the military who eat that crappy food, spend fucking 15 minutes on the crapper. Now if I go into the stall and haven't left for 10 minutes, people are gonna start to think something's up. Especially if there's an odor coming from my stall. So every once in a while, if I'm still waiting for someone to leave their stall, I'll periodically flush the toilet, you know, to give the illusion that I'm doing something in there. And then when the guy finally leaves, I sit on the crapper and I do my thing. Now when you're deployed to Afghanistan, resources are scarce. So the first thing I do is Don't judge me, asshole. You have any idea how dry it is in Afghanistan? If I didn't spit in my fucking hand, I'd be chapped and bleeding down there by the end of the week. After I do this, I have to look down and check the other stalls, just to make sure there are no feet. Because the last thing you want to do is have this noise emit from your stall while someone else is in the bathroom. Now for me personally, I try to get the whole process done as quick as I can. And that means going as fast as I can. Because with the Army, you never really know when someone's gonna walk into the bathroom. And if somebody does walk into the bathroom, you have to stop immediately. I mean, you can't make that noise with somebody there. It can get pretty fucking exhausting, okay? I was once in the stall for an hour through trial and error until I was finally able to finish. So yeah, those are the kind of conditions I had to adapt to in order to survive in Afghanistan. It's pretty fucking tough over there, man. I masturbate in horrific conditions so that you don't have to. What's up?